Donate.
Just a little bit.
They lie.
Just a little
Come
bit.
on.
I'll never give you up. No, I'll never stop. Keep it coming. Keep on coming for more. I'll never give you up.
Alright folks, welcome to the channel Skins for Life, where you're going to enjoy some, at least as long as this commentary would go, some gameplay footage of All Pro Football. Now I have already gone back and forth with the rosters and pretty much I no longer have the links in the game, so this is actually archive footage that I've not released, at least in its full extent. But anyway, what I really wanted to talk to you guys about, I came across a video, and this is actually, subject to Big Play Killer. Wasn't subscribed to him at this time. This was June 19th of last year, in which he came out with a video in which entitled, and I'll have a link to this video because first of all, I'm going to say it's a good video. I say it's a great video. I think he hits the nail on the head on a lot of points, and I mean he had a lot. The video was 35 minutes long, and yes, I listened and took notes before he even mentions it. I pulled out a pen and pad and took notes because I wanted to know what he had to say. I wanted to know what his list was, and the name of the video is called Best Football Game Ever, and his points, which were 28 points. And what I basically did was I took notes, wrote down pretty much, took notes here and there. Some of his points were redundant, so I combined a couple. To me, after I was done with taking notes, I came up with 25, and even then I was able to combine a couple which were connected, so about 24, 25. So he has 28. You can go check out the video, you can take your own notes, but I pretty much starred 7 that I felt were important, and also something to compare as far as what's going on with the football games this year. Now, he first off starts talking about he'd be willing to pay $100 for this video game if they had these 28 features that he points out. Like I said, I took notes. I came up with 25. After about 28, combined the two. But anyway, so that's his opinion. The first one he starts off with is graphics and presentation. It must be like Madden, which, Madden is well known for how it looks and how the presentation runs in that game. Now, we ain't talking about actual in-game presentation, because everyone knows that 2K football is still better in that regards, but it looks like Madden 13 may challenge that this year. Second one, and this is most important, must play like 2K5. Now I'm going to add on to that, must play it also like All Pro Football 2K8. Madden isn't, I would say, with its, and which will lead me to the next point, it's getting there. I think that's a work in progress with a new development team. They're putting in some things this year. Case in point, I look at what NHL has been doing, and NHL has been progressing each year, adding something different. So with that being said, what I had to leave out was physics. That was my next point. Well, not my next point, but his next point was physics, and basically wanting realistic outcomes. Now that was another point he made, and that was one of his 28, and I combined it with physics, because with physics, like in Backbreaker, you had realistic outcomes, but what happened with Backbreaker is that these guys had no ratings, no nothing, no tension. They they get hit, they become ragdolls. And Versus pretty much blew that one out the water when you can just literally hit a guy up in the air and he have no weight. I'm like, momentum kind of mattered and stuff like that, but they just turned to ragdolls. Now, with that being said, Madden 13 is including the Infinity engine, which is a real-time physics engine combined with animations, which I agree with the fact that they both have to be together. You can't just have real-time physics and nothing else, because unless somebody is able to pull it off to where the ratings and muscle tension and all that would matter, then it's going to turn out to be another backbreaker. And as far as backbreaker is concerned, nobody wants another backbreaker. So you have realistic outcomes with that one. Now the next one, and he actually refers to Jay on this one. He shouts out to Jay and says, when you can play my player and franchise at the same time. Gee, what does that sound like in Madden 13? Connected careers. Do you think they're not listening to you guys? I think they heard you. So I believe connected careers will take care of that. See how it plays out still. Another point that he pops up, a little side point about the connected careers. He also talked about Hall of Fame, you know, the ability for your player to make it to the Hall of Fame, be enshrined and whatnot. I figured out will more likely be in connected careers, and that looks like that can be the case. Another thing, another side note he mentions was also a player becomes the head coach. Now that happens. Looks like it's going to happen in Madden and not so much in NCAA. So, because I know throughout all these points, he was going back and forth between the pro game and the NCAA game, and I can understand. He's had personal experience. I'm like, his background, I don't question his background as far as his playing days. I really don't question anybody's background as far as their playing days. Okay, so next one I look at, and this one is the backbreaker of all games, which is make ratings matter. Now, when they mean make ratings matter, if a guy is rated at 99 speed, he should be able to dust in a foot race anybody on the field that's less than 99. When he runs into another 99, depending upon where they start, they should run even. Now, of course, how fast they get to that top speed will be the acceleration rating. Make sure that matters. Making sure their weight, making sure all that matters. We don't want to have another experiment where we put a 100-pound center in the middle against like a 300-pound behemoth or 330 and still be able to hold his ground. Now, to tell you the truth, I'm gonna let you in on something. This is a side story. I used to play semi-pro football. They put me on the line. Here's my stats. I'm 5'9", 100. Let's see, at the time, 175 pounds. The people I was going up against were 250, close to 300, about 6'2". One was like 6'3", defensive end. They had me play the line because we had a shortage of linemen in our practice, so I became the offensive tackle. How you figure? But anyway, this kind of blows that experiment out the water, because I actually practiced at the line and could block and fend off a 300-pound defender. You want to know why? Because I know blocking techniques. I think if I was an actual video game like in-game character, I would be able to look at my ratings and say, hey, I have good blocking technique, my footwork is precise, and my hand positioning is, I pay attention to the linemen, so I was able to pretty much ride the guy and create that pocket that the quarterback needs. Now, unfortunately, in doing that, the quarterback kept dropping back. So in trying to create that pocket and keeping the guy off of him, I can't keep him off of him forever, and he eventually got to the quarterback. So there can be a resistance from a small guy going up against a 250, 300-pound guy, but it doesn't last as long as another 250 or 300-pound guy on the line opposite of him. So those were examples. Other examples would include the ability system would be like shutdown corner can shut down any regular wide receiver. A star receiver should be able to break down any cornerback, and then there should be a stall. There should be a struggle between shutdown corner and star receiver. So all that belonging to make ratings matter. So I think that's a work in progress. See how it looks in Madden 13. They do it well in All Pro Football 2K8, but even in All Pro Football 2K8, Jerry Rice is just too much to deal with. Okay. So another thing he alludes to, and actually these can be combined because they actually help each other out. He talks about the My Player mode in 2K, how you get points for activities that you do that help you buy ability points for your either your players or your player, your own player. That sounds like what Connected Careers is doing with its XP system. Its XP system is slated to do the same thing, which leads me to practice mode, to where you're able to, the way Josh Lumen explains the practice mode in Madden 13 is that you would be able to, let's say, practice a full game, half, quarter, whatever situation, practice coming back from 2 touchdowns, 2-minute drill, to get your character or your players XP points. I also see something similar to that in NHL. Those that play NHL, like myself, I've been experiencing that for quite some time with XP points, which help the ability points. And I've played, I think NHL 11, I played a whole season, and those XP points help increase the player ratings. So throughout the season, I would see like an increase here in the player rating based on the experience level, because after the game, I would see what the experience points they gained from that game. Depending on if they won, they gained a lot. If they lost, they gained not as much. Depending upon the potential rating, how much experience they needed, whether they were 1 year in the league, 3 years, 10, whatever. So I believe that was that's looking like it's going to be in Madden 13. So again, this is all referencing what is in Big Play Killer's video that he did last year. Now I'm sorry that this is long, but you know, you have to be, honestly, I have to be fair in breaking down his video and his points. I picked 7 because I didn't want to do all 24, 25. There's a lot more. He talks about there should be a storyline. I believe there's one in NCAA already that Madden 13 is going to include a fake Twitter feed and trade window and stuff like that. I know he talks about injuries, and they should be variable injuries, and he referenced Tecmo Bowl, which was great. I could agree with being excited when I was playing with the skins and seeing that Art Monk made it back, Ernest Bonner made it back, and it was a complete shocker. I didn't know how long they were going to be out for. I know they were out for one game and I was missing their presence, and all of a sudden, like a few weeks later, my running game returns because Ernest Bonner's back, and you know, Art Monk is back because he's just back. But I see how that could be done if they did it properly in Madden. I don't think they've done it properly in Madden. I think they did it. I think they had it the best in 2K5 and All Pro Football 2K. In 2K5, you had such things as random injuries that would happen before the game. Like somebody could just come up with, you know, sick with the flu, and he couldn't play. Or, you know, you had practice injuries, which used to happen in Madden, so you had to deal with that. They're saying in Madden 13 that you're going to have injuries that may carry into the offseason, maybe into next year. So I wonder how that's going to play out. But I think if you make the training staff or medical staff matter and give them a rating or give them a grade, and you have a choice to pick what medical staff you get, should determine what how they diagnose injuries and how long they're out for. Now that's already done in NHL, because depending upon how many points you spend on your medical staff and what level they're at, they'll be able to give you a range time of when somebody will be out. I've seen players in NHL with our medical staff at level 1 would give like a range of 1 to 2 weeks, 3 to 4 weeks. They didn't know. You just have to monitor it. But a higher level medical staff could give you an exact time. So it seems like Madden for the last few years just goes off, okay, an exact time, and that's it, which is good, but it takes away from the suspense factor that Technoball used to always bring with a surprise return. So I think that was really good. Let's see. Oh, he also talks about, and he was really like smiling really hard when this came up, and this was game face. He wants his face in the game. He wants his player to look like him, like his face. Well, let's see what Connected Careers does, and this Connect does with Madden 13's game face feature. Let's see how that plays out, and we'll have our opinions about that after that game drops. I think I'll look at one more thing, and one thing and definitely should be felt, and that is what was it? Where is it? Momentum shift. I believe that is very important when you're playing a game. You have to be able to tell when the momentum shifts. Big hits should be momentum shifters. Big plays, long touchdown runs, long touchdown grabs, Moss-like touchdown grabs, quarterback sacks, big hits over the middle. I know I said big hit twice, but these should, and you should be able to hear it from the crowd. You should be able to hear, like, okay, another example, you can look this up on YouTube. Remember that game in 2003? I know Big Play Killer's gonna like this example. Remember Sean Taylor? Well, he wasn't one that delivered the hit, but I'm a Florida State fan. Knows all the way. But my only experience of seeing a rivalry, a highly amped rivalry, was Florida State versus Miami back in 2003. Sean Taylor was on that squad. I believe Willis McGahee was on that squad too. But this play involved Stanford Samuels. Hopefully I got his first name right, but Samuels was his last name, a cornerback from Florida State, and Roscoe Parrish, who was then the wide receiver for Miami, who now plays for the Buffalo Bills. What's the play? Play was thrown, and pretty much Parrish was led into Samuels, and then you heard nothing but helmet shoulder pads, and then the crowd's like, oh! And this was in the downpouring rain, and it looked vicious. Parrish, from what you know, was just totally obliterated on the play. That sent a chill down my spine, and I was sitting in the stands when this happened. I had a friend of mine, we were both like, what the fuck just happened? Because Roscoe Parrish just got knocked the fuck out. He even tried to get up, and the fans were going crazy. And each time they kept looking at the replay, and this is another thing, the immersion factor into the whole momentum shift. Even though it didn't do anything for Florida State, because Sean Taylor just basically took over the game and scared the hell out of whoever the quarterback was for Florida State, and pretty much, you know, won the game for Miami. But the fans felt that hit. I felt that hit. I know Roscoe did. but yeah, that should be better represented in these football games. And I know I really can't pinpoint what game actually did that the best. If you guys know, let me know. And damn, this is running kind of long, so I'm gonna just go ahead and actually wrap this up. There was more that he had in his video, but I'm gonna let you guys look at that video. I know some of you guys probably already seen that video, probably gonna look at me and say, you late as hell, bro. But I was subscribed to him when he made that video, so this is the first time I'm seeing it, and I like the video. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. It's just my opinion, but I think that he made some great valid points on what should be in the game. Now, I wouldn't be willing to pay $100 for it, because if I was able to get it for $20 in ESPN 2K5, then why in the hell am I paying $100? Unless he's talking about a pro and college football game all in one game. If he's doing that, then I understand. But like I said, these are good points, and I would also like to hear, you know, his response to, you know, me breaking down this, because I know he remembers this video. And again, I agree. I agree with all 28 points. I believe all that should be in the game. I don't know if off the field issues are gonna make its way back. I know it was in NCAA for a little bit, but with licensed games, they don't like that shit. They don't like that shit. They don't like their name being tarnished anyway, so they had to quickly take that out, because players are being suspended. They were not making curfew. And your program would suffer because of it. NCAA used to have that, and they took it out because that was the NCAA. They didn't like that. The NFL didn't like those big vicious hits. Hence why in Madden you get your hug me tackles, like your Care Bear tackling. I would call it, well, I'm calling it Care Bear tackling. I'm like, those soft hits, like that wasn't a soft hit that you just saw, but the little, like, you look like you're gonna get a train wreck, and all you get is a landing on a plush pillow type tackle. So again, sorry this video ran long. Not the video, but me talking. And so tell me what's up. What do you think about the breakdown? I know you guys are enjoying this footage, and you know, getting killed. Well, it's only 10-0. So again, tell me what you think.
Yeah, great play, and now they have a bunch of options on what to try next.
Second and 1 from your Lynx 39-yard line.
Down! Set!
Double time!
Check!
Time!
Go!
Win!
54!
Win! They got Ibex!
Check!
Ibex!
Check! Gray 44!
Means gets the toss and runs into traffic, breaks the tackle, one man to beat, finally stopped at the 38. First down.
Dan, check out all the yards he snarfs up here. Yes, snarfs. That's an old football term. Tell you what, though, this is a great play.
He gets the call.